welcome back. So in my last video, I know I told you guys that I was going to wait probably until Saturday or Sunday to post what happened with the dog issue, but bringing it up again just kind of reminded me how pissed off I was about this whole scenario. So I decided I'm just going to go into it now. Um, First things first, we've had our dog for like 2 years now. We've had her since she was 9 months old. She's turning 3 this September, and um, she's house trained. She doesn't chew on anything, things like that. So ever since we've trained her and stuff, I don't keep her in her kennel when we leave the house. The only issue that she's ever had was she'll bark for a couple minutes once we leave, and then after that she kind of just mosey on, does her own thing. But this particular day was not how I expected it to go down. I was so thoroughly pissed off with everything and everybody. I was not having it. So my husband called me up. It was on the 27th of April. It was literally the day after I posted my second video on here. He had called me up around lunch and he was like, hey, I want to go play a couple holes of golf with the guys and you can take Joey up to the mall and then, we'll go out to dinner afterwards. And I was like, okay. And he's like, just be ready by the time I get home and we'll just, I'll come home, pick you guys up and we'll leave. And his friend was being nice enough to lend me his car to go up to the mall because our car is a stick and I'm so nervous with it. So he was just like, you can borrow my car and go up to the mall, whatever. Well, I took baby out. She went to the bathroom. I fed and watered her and gave her everything that she needs before we leave. And we headed out maybe about 4:35ish that night. And we got up to the other base and we went up to the golf course and my husband hit a couple balls up at the golfing range and then the guy showed up. So we transferred the car seat over to the car and my husband handed me his phone and he was like, here's my credit card, go put minutes on my phone and that way in case you need to call me you'll have minutes. I'm like, okay. So I get up to the mall and even though my husband doesn't have minutes on his phone yet, people can still call him and I can answer and whatnot. So I got up to the mall and fought with the damn lady at the phone place because she wasn't going to let me purchase any minutes from my husband's phone because I had his credit card and because he wasn't there to sign for the receipt, I couldn't use the credit card. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, whatever. I'll just go take Joey down to the playground area and we'll just sit there and then whenever they're done they could just call me and I could drive back over. So I'm sitting there for maybe about 30 to 45 minutes and my husband's phone starts ringing. And I'm like, okay, I look at it and it's just showing up as a number and I'm like, okay, I need to answer this. So I answer and they're like, hi, this is so-and-so, I'm looking for so-and-so. And I was like, well, you've got the right number, this is my husband's cell phone, but right now we're on this base and he's over at the golfing range and I'm over here at the mall. I was like, is it anything that I need to get him right now or is it something that I can handle? And they're like, well, ma'am, you can actually handle this. The cops have called to your house for your dog. I was like, excuse me? They're like, well, apparently your dog has become a nuisance and one of your neighbors had called the MPs and was having them come out to try to address the whole situation, try to get her to calm down, I guess, and we need one of you guys to go home. I was like, I am on my way. I'll be there in 20 minutes. If the cops are still there, just tell them I'm on my way. Well, here how they do things with the MPs is if they come to your house and you were not home, they normally typically leave a note. I don't know if it's mandatory for them to do this or not, but normally they will leave a message on your door stating, hey, we were here, you weren't home, this is the reason why we stopped by, or this is a number that you can call to find out why we stopped by. So, because my husband's phone didn't have no minutes, I up and took my husband's friend's car back to our house, like without his permission. So I'm hurrying up and getting Joey into the car. He's fighting with me. He's all pissed off because I'm taking him back from the damn playground area and I'm like speeding home to get here. And when I get here, there's no cops at all. Like not parked outside, not upstairs by my door, nothing. I had no note, no nothing. So if my husband's unit had not been notified, I would have never have known that the cops had even been here at my house. But the reason why I like tried to rush home is when they were saying that she was barking. She's never had this happen. Ever. Not once has any of my neighbors had ever made a complaint on her. Never told me walking by the stairs, saying, hey, by the way, your dog was making a lot of noise the other night. Can you try to keep her down? Blah, blah, blah. Nothing. So I'm racing home because I'm thinking, oh God, she probably got hurt. She probably did something stupid like jumped off the couch or did something and she's hurt. So I get home. There's no cops. I get upstairs. There's no note. And so I get inside, and my dog is scared shitless of me. Like, she does not want to have nothing to do with me. This is not normal for her. When I come home, when my husband comes home, no matter what, that dog, she is at the door, excited, jumping, barking, whatever. She's excited to see us. She's never backed away, bowed her head, and like ran to her kennel, being scared and terrified of me. She's never done that. So she's doing all this, she's freaking out, she runs to her kennel, and then I noticed there's a little bitty pee spot, like she had been scared to death and like pee. And so that pissed me off because I'm like, who the hell agitated my damn dog and got her all scared, all riled up, and all of a sudden made her pee because she didn't have to pee when I had taken her out. So I get on the home phone and I call my husband's friend up and I was like, hey, can you put my husband on the phone? He's like, babe, it's me. Why are you calling from the house phone? Is everything okay? Are you okay? Is Joey okay? And I'm like, well, I had to come home. Your phone was ringing. It was your unit. Apparently the MPs were called about our dog. I had to come home. I was like, please tell Josh I'm sorry that I kind of like stole his car and that I came all the way home, tell him we'll reimburse him for gas. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll tell him. I'll talk to him. Don't worry about it. He's like, just call the MPs, find out what happened. So as I'm thinking about it, when you have the MPs call, like I said, they're supposed to knock on your door, and if you're not there, they'll post a note. But also, when I've spoken with the cop, finally, when I got a hold of them, they said that the neighbor, it was one neighbor, and they had frequently called within an hour. Frequently. You don't have to do that out here. When you call the MPs, you can call me like, okay, I'm making a noise complaint. Either my neighbors are making noise or the dogs are making noise or whatever. Normally, they will dispatch a fucking unit or a police officer out to your freaking house in like no less than 20 or no more than 20 minutes. So even if they don't arrive in like 20, 30 minutes, you can call back and be like, hey, are they en route, whatever. So the most you need to call is like 2 or 3 times. That's it. This person fucking called numerous times, repeatedly, in a freaking hour. And I've talked to majority of the people in my stairwell, and everyone I've spoken to said no, they were not the ones that called. That yes, they did hear baby barking, but it wasn't a nuisance. They thought, maybe she was just barking because they were shutting their door and shit, and they're like, it didn't bother me. I kind of had a hunch. I mean, I still haven't found out who did this, but everyone I've talked to who knows what's been going on in the past 2 years out here, knows what's been going on, thinks the same thing that I've been thinking, but I can't prove it. But anyways, I called the police station and I get on the phone with the guy, and he was like, well, ma'am, I wasn't the one that took the call, so I don't know who actually made the, complaint, and he's like, but I do know that they did repeatedly call. Well, he used the term frequently. Called in an hour. He's like, we sent out a dispatch, they came to your house, they knocked on your door, you weren't home, obviously. He's like, and then they left. He's like, that's when we decided to go ahead and get in contact with your husband's unit and then notify them what's going on, and then they would in turn notify you, which they did. They're like, it's not a fine, it's not a notice to correct, and notice to corrects out here, if you get 3 notice to corrects, you're kicked out of housing. They're like, you're out. You're kicked out of housing. You cannot be moved on post at all. Like, you're banned. So I'm freaking out thinking we got either a fine, we have to pay a fine for noise, or we got a notice to correct, because we're getting down to our final days here in Europe, and I was like, I really do not need this shit. But anyways, needless to say, it was kind of all taken care of. I'm still trying to figure out who called, but it was just one of those things where we've had her for 2 years. We've never had a complaint on her. Not once have we ever had a neighbor say, even if they came up and knocked on my door and was like, hey, your dog is barking like nonstop when you guys are gone. Can you please put her in her kennel so that she's not doing that? I'll fucking do that. But to have the cops called out to my house and tell me that they frequently called, they were really upset, she's being a nuisance, it just pissed me off. So that's really the dog issue. Like I said, I still don't know who it is. I kind of still have a hunch. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll ever figure out who did it. I don't even know if at this point if I honestly want to know, because I'm tired of people being childish. I've told the new neighbors, if you ever have a problem with my dog, you can come up and tell me. And no one's ever done that. So to have the cops call to my animal, my dog, my second child, just pissed me off. But anyways, that's my rant about my dog. Sorry it took 10 minutes for me to sit here and bitch about my freaking neighbors, but hopefully I will not have this problem when we get to the States, and my dog won't have to worry about being called on because she barks or whatever, but who knows? There's a lot of drama out there, a lot of drama-filled people, and I don't know. But thanks for listening. If you guys don't care about this, you don't have to watch. But I guess I'll see you guys next week. Bye.